Let me ask you something you probably haven't heard in a while. What if everything you've been taught about attraction, the chasing, the overthinking, the trying too hard has been leading you in the wrong direction? What if, instead of saying more, doing more, impressing more, you just needed to say one thing, the right thing, at the right moment? Now, I'm not talking about pickup lines or manipulation. This isn't about gaming anyone, okay? I'm talking about something, the imperial connection, emotional gravity, the kind that leaves a woman thinking about you long after the conversation ends. You see, words carry weight, not because of how loud you say them, okay? But because of who you are when you say them. And the truth is, most men today speak from their logic, but they forget. It's emotion that shapes memory. It's emotion that builds attraction. When your words touch the emotional core of a woman, not her ego, not her checklist, but the part of her that feels everything shifts, that's what we're here to uncover. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 6 phrases. Not cheesy lines, not tricks, but tools. Tools built on timeless psychology, human behavior, and emotional intelligence. They don't shout, they don't beg, they create presence. They create a feeling, and when used right, they create a quiet, pull-a-magnetic moment that flips the script from you chasing to her remembering. Because here's what nobody tells you. Most women have heard it all before. The compliments, the flattery, the bragging, it all blurs together. But the man who knows what to say, it stands out without trying. He's not louder, he's deeper. He doesn't dominate the room. He anchors it. So if you're the kind of man who's tired of surface level games, if you've ever felt like you have something real to offer, but never quite knew how to express it in a way that lands, then this video is for you. But before we dive in, I want to ask you to do something bold. If this resonates with you, you feel like this is the kind of content more men need to hear, hit that subscribe button. Not for me, but for every man who's still stuck chasing women who barely see him. Let's help change that, alright? Take a breath, center yourself, because what you're about to learn isn't just about attraction. It's about emotional leadership, inner clarity, how to speak, not just to impress, to leave an imprint. Let's begin. You know, it's easy to tell someone they're beautiful. It takes about 2 seconds and 0 thought. And that's the problem. Most compliments women receive are recycled, predictable, surface-level, You're pretty. You look amazing tonight. And while those words might bring a smile, they usually don't stay with her. They fade like background noise. But every now and then, a man says something that lingers. He pauses, looks her in the inot in a forced overconfident way, but with calm presence. Sen says, "You have a unique way about you. I like that." And just like that, the air shifts. This phrase is not flashy. It doesn't try too hard, but it cuts through the noise, because it doesn't just compliment what she looks like, it recognizes who she is. Think about it. How often does someone notice a woman's energy, her rhythm, her essence? Not the makeup, not the dress, but the way she tells a story. The way her voice softens when she talks about something meaningful. The way she laughs at her own awkwardness. And that's the power of this phrasing. It triggers curiosity. It opens a loop in her mind. One that doesn't close right away. What does he see in me? Was it something I said? Something I did? Part of me stood out. And while she's wondering, something beautiful happens. She starts to reflect on her own presence, her stories, her emotions. She becomes more connected to the moment, and to you. It's like you've planted a small mystery in her mind. Not one that confuses her, but one that draws her in. Because now, she doesn't just feel flattered, she feels seen. Let me ask you, when was the last time you made someone feel seen? Not just noticed, but understood without needing to explain themselves. That kind of presence, that kind of observation is rare, right? And rare things are magnetic. Dot, 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 dot. Now, here's the key. You don't just drop this phrase casually. You wait. You feel for the moment. Maybe she shares something from dot, dot, dot. Her childhood that shaped who she is. Maybe she's passionately dot, 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 explaining a project she cares about. More, maybe she just made a weird little joke that 99% of people would have missed. No, T, dot, 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 let, dot, dot, let, dot, let, dot, let, dot. Moment, breathe. Hold her gaze just a beat longer, then say it, dot, 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 dot. You have a unique way about you. I like that. No big speech, no nervous laughter. No need to explain, because it's not what you say after, it's the silence after that. Carries weight, let it sit there. That's what creates emotional gravity. You're not chasing, you're not trying to impress, you're simply witnessing her. Okay, and that is rare. Here's something I've learned the hard way. Most women feel emotionally invisible. Yes, they're complimented for how they look. But when was the last time someone noticed how they think, how they feel, how they come alive when they talk about something they love? That's where this line lands with depth. Dot, dot, dot. It's not about seduction, it's about recognition. Dot, dot, dot. You're telling her, I see something in you that others miss. Dot, 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 dot. And that is worth appreciating. And what happens next is subtle, but powerful. Dot, 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 dot. She starts leaning in. Dot, dot, dot. She tells you more. She opens up. Because now, she's not just in a conversation. She's in a connection. Dot, 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 dot. So don't use this line as a trick. Dot, 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 dot. Use it as truth. Use it when the moment is real. Okay? When you say it like you just discovered something rare. Dot, 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 dot. Because you did. Dot, 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 dot. And trust me, you'll never forget it. Dot, 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 dot. Let me tell you. Dot, dot, dot. Something most men don't realize they're doing. When they're around a woman they're attracted to, they slip into a mode without even knowing it. Start trying to win her over. Smiling a little too much. Agreeing a little too quickly. Laughing at things that aren't really funny. And, at some point, without meaning to, they cross an invisible line. They stop being a man with his own center and start becoming a man seeking approval. Dot, 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 dot. Now, here's the truth. No one told you growing up. The moment you start auditioning for someone's attention, you lose a piece of your value. Dot, 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 dot. Not because you're not worthy, but because you've flipped the script. Dot, 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 dot. You're asking, am I good enough for her? But the better question, the one that changes everything, is this calling. Dot, 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 dot. Is she aligned with the kind of woman I'm looking for? Dot, 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 dot. And that's where this phrase comes in. Dot, 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 dot. A simple sentence. Quiet. Underrated. Dot, 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 dot. I like women who know what they want. No, read that again. Slowly. It doesn't beg. It doesn't flatter. Doesn't try to impress. It filters. It's a subtle shift, but one with massive impact. Because when you say that, calmly, directly, it signals something powerful. You're not out here looking for anyone to like you. Dot, 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 dot. You're not hoping to get lucky. You're a man with standards, with clarity, dot, 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 dot. And that's rare. Here's what happens psychologically. You say this line, dot, 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 dot. The woman in front of you suddenly has to consider whether she meets your filter. It flips her internal script from is he into me. To do I seem like the kind of woman he's into? And that internal reflection, that quiet challenges where attraction begins to grow. Dot, dot, dot. Because deep down, a confident woman doesn't want a man who says yes to everyone. She wants to be chosen by someone who doesn't need to choose anyone. She wants to earn your focus not because you're playing games, but because you value yourself too much to give your time away freely. Now, let me be clear. This isn't about being arrogant. It's about being selective. There's a big difference. Let's say you're on a date, You're having a conversation, and she confidently tells you her plans, her goals, her vision, where she's heading. That's your moment. You hold her gaze. You nod, just lightly. And then you say, it not to flatter, but to affirm, I like women who know what they want. Then stop. Let it land. Over-explaining, so soft backtracking. Let your energy carry the weight of those words, Because if you deliver that with calm certainty, she won't just hear the sentence sheet. Feel your presence, your clarity, your direction. And that kind of energy, quiet, steady, grounded, that's what creates traction on a deeper level. It's also the kind of energy that separates you from 90% of men out there, men who don't really know what they want, who are afraid to offend, who are too busy trying to be chosen to choose. Now, here's the real kicker. When she asks you, what kind of woman are you into? Most guys will freeze or say something vague like, I don't know, someone nice, I guess. But you smile, you take a breath. Can you say, I like women who know what they want? It's direct, it's honest, it sets a standard, But this part matters. Once you say it, you live it. Don't chase someone who's indecisive, unsure, or emotionally unavailable. Don't contradict your own standard just because someone's attractive. If you hold your line, if your actions align with your words, do you feel the difference? And she starts stepping toward you not because you asked, but because now you're the one she wants to earn. So remember this, don't speak to impress. Speak to express your values. And when you do it with quiet conviction, not ego, you stop being the man who chases and become the man she wants to understand. Because clarity is confidence. And confidence is magnetic. Let me tell you something about modern dating. Most people are so used to being seen on the surface that they've forgotten what it feels like to be seen at the soul. And women, they experience this more than anyone. They're told they're pretty, told they have a nice smile, told they look amazing in that dress. But here's the thing about those compliments. Every man can say them, and most do so they don't stick, okay? Don't echo. They don't feel earned. But then you come along, instead of praising what everyone else notices, you pause, okay? And say something different. That's what I like most about you, okay? And you're not talking about her lips, or her figure, or her hair, You're talking about the way her voice shifts when she talks about her goals, The way her eyes light up when she helps someone without needing credit, The way she leans into life with quiet strength, even when no one's watching, That's what makes this phrase so powerful. It's not just a compliment. It's recognition, You're showing her gently and confidently. I see something in you that most people overlook, and in a world full of shallow praise, that moment hits differently, It cuts through the noise, Now, let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt deeply understood? Not just liked, not just wanted, but seen for the truth of who you are. It's rare, right? That's exactly what makes this phrase unforgettable, Because when you offer it authentically, when you point out a subtle but meaningful quality, tells her she's not just attractive, she's empathetic. She's saying, that right there, that right there, that's what moves me. That's what I remember. And here's the magic. You don't need poetry. You don't need to over-explain. You just need presence. Let me paint the picture for you. You're having a conversation. It's telling you about a dream she's chasing or a challenge she overcame. Maybe she's being vulnerable. Maybe she's being bold. But something in that moment moves you. and instead of rushing past it, you feel it, dot 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 dot. You pause, dot 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 dot. You lower your voice, just slightly, not to dramatize, but to honor the moment, and you say, that's what I like most about you. And then, silence, dot 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 dot. Let it land, dot 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 dot. Don't single quotes to ruin it by immediately talking over it or softening the moment. Let her feel that you meant it, dot dot dot. Because that pause, that breath, that's when her heart hears you, not just her ears, dot 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 dot. And here's what happens next. She won't forget it, dot 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 dot. Why? Because no one else says that. No one else slows down enough to really look. And certainly, no one else names the one thing that makes her feel recognized in a world that only sees appearances, dot 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 dot. Now, I'm not saying use this line all the time. In fact, don't. Save it for when it matters, dot dot dot. When something real shows up in the conversation, when she drops the act, when she shows who she is, not just what she looks like. Because when you offer this phrase at the right moment, it becomes a mirror one that reflects back her deeper self. And that reflection is powerful, dot dot dot. It makes her feel emotionally significant, dot 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 dot. And that's rare. It's what creates memories, dot 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 dot. Attraction isn't about how loud you are, how rich you are, or how clever your lines are. It's about how present you are when it matters, dot 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 dot. So remember this, that's what I like most about you. Say it with calm, grounded energy. Say it when you see her, not just look at her, and you won't just impress her, you'll leave an imprint, dot 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 dot. Because presence is the most underrated form of power, dot 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 dot. Let's talk about something subtle, but powerful, dot 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 dot. There's a moment in every conversation, usually when things get playful, okay, flirty, or even a little competitive, where you can either blend in like every dot 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 other guy she's met, or you can shift the entire dynamic with one sentence, dot 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 dot. It's not loud, it's not arrogant, carries weight, dot dot dot. You lean back, just dot dot. You lean back, just dot dot. Slightly, smile like you know something she doesn't, and say, I don't know if you can handle me. Now, let's break this down, because this phrase, when delivered right, it's not about being cocky, dot 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 dot. It's about mystery, dot dot dot. Depth, unpredictability, dot dot. You single quotes, we not saying it's too much. You're saying there's more to me than you think, and that's intoxicating. Here's the truth. Most men present themselves like a menu. Everything laid out. No surprises. It's easy to read, easy to predict. Safe, but safety isn't exciting. Predictability rarely builds attraction. Curiosity doesn't think about it, what draws us in. A story we don't know the ending to. A person whose layers unfold slowly. A conversation that leaves space for the imagination to fill in the blanks. That's what this line does. It invites curiosity. She might have thought she was challenging you. Maybe she was teasing, being bold, testing the waters. But when you drop that sentence calmly, with a slight renew, flip the dynamic. Now she's wondering, what does he mean? What is it about him I don't see yet? Is he intense, wild, emotional, deep, unapologetically free? She doesn't know. And that's the point. This phrase opens a loop in her mind. One she wants to close, and the only way to do that, she has to lean in. Ask more. Stay curious. But here's where most guys mess this up. They say it like a gimmick, but they don't live it. And if you say, I don't know if you can handle me, okay? And then immediately try to impress her, chase her, or explain yourself, the magic's gone. Because this phrase only works when your energy matches your words. It means being calm in the face of tension, grounded in your own worth. Not trying to prove anything. It means knowing I'm not for everyone, unless. Okay, Dot, you see, a man who knows his depth doesn't hand himself over easily. He invites others to step forward, but he doesn't reach for them. And that's what makes this line powerful. It's not a dare, it's a quiet truth. I don't know if you can handle me, said with ease, with presence, with stillness. Here's an example. Let's say she jokingly says she's a lot to handle, or she teases you like she's in control of the moment. That's when you smile. Let the moment breathe, to then drop the line. Watch how the energy shifts. She smiled back. She might roll her eyes, but inside, just suddenly wondering how deep the rabbit hole goes. And that curiosity, that emotional tension, is what creates attraction. But remember this, you don't have to explain. You don't have to perform. You just have to be consistent. Let your lifestyle, your values, your unpredictability speak for itself. Maybe you're the kind of man who disappears for a weekend to hike alone. Or you read philosophy while jazz plays in the background. Maybe you write in silence while the world chases noise. Whatever it is, live it, because the more layered you are, the more this line becomes a truth, not a tactic. So next time a woman thinks she's got you all figured out, next time she's a little too confident that she's in control of the conversation, pause, smile, tilt your head slightly, and say it. I don't know if you can handle me. Then let the silence do what words never could. That's not arrogance. That's intrigue. And intrigue, it's unforgettable. There's a quiet power in restraint. And in today's world, where everything is fast text, fast attention, fast interest restraint becomes a rare signal of value. That's why this one simple phrase, said with calm conviction, can completely shift the dynamic of any interaction. I'm not that easy, okay? Now, let's be clear. This isn't a defensive line. It's not about playing hard to get or pretending to be above someone. It's about communicating something far deeper. You know your worth, because here's what happens to most guys. The moment a woman shows a little interest or compliment, a laugh, a flirtatious look, they melt, they chase. They overcommit emotionally before there's been any real connection. And suddenly, without even realizing it, they give their value away. Why? Because attention feels like approval, and approval feels like love. But here's the hard truth. Being available to anyone who shows interest doesn't make you desirable. It makes you easy. And when something's easy, it's often taken for granted. That's where this phrase comes in. I'm not that easy. It's playful on the outside, but it carries a quiet force underneath. It says, yes, I enjoy your attention. Yes, I see your charm, but that doesn't mean I'm automatically available. That message is rare, and that's exactly why it creates attraction. Let's paint the picture. Imagine you're talking to a woman, and the conversation starts to get flirtatious. Maybe she says something teasing. Maybe she tries to push a little boundary, expecting you to just smile and fold. But instead, you smile and gently say, I'm not that easy, and pause. Let the moment hang in the air. No over-explaining, no nervous chuckle. It's presence. That one sentence shifts the energy. Suddenly, you're not reacting, you're responding. You're not being pulled into her world, you're standing in your own. And here's the thing most people don't realize. Boundaries are attractive. Selectiveness is magnetic. When you say, I'm not that easy, you're reminding her and yourself that your time, attention, and presence aren't free. They're earned not through games, not through power trips, but through mutual effort, genuine interest, and aligned values. Now, someone might ask, but doesn't that come off as arrogant? Not if you mean it. Not if you say it with humility and quiet confidence. It's not about rejecting someone, it's about respecting yourself. Let me give you a real example. A buddy of mine, smart, funny, successful, used to fall head over heels the moment a woman smiled at him. He'd text back immediately, cancel plans, rearrange his schedule just to stay in her orbit, and every time, without fail, she'd pull away. Not because he wasn't a great guy, but because he gave himself away too easily. There was no sense of standard gravity. Eventually, he shifted. He started slowing down, holding his ground, letting her effort match his. And when she pushed, he'd just smile and say, "I'm not that easy." And you know what happened? The energy flipped. She leaned in. She asked deeper questions. She showed more respect because suddenly he became a man who required something real. That's what this phrase communicates. Not a wall, not arrogance, but value. So next time a woman expects you to chase her just because she's pretty, next time someone flirts and assumes they've got you, smile, look her in the eye, and with calm, centered energy, say, "I'm not that easy," because you're not. You've done the work. You've built a life. You've earned your peace, and anyone who wants in, they should show up, not just show interest. So, after all the phrases we've explored, all the nuance, timing, and intention behind each word, there's one truth I want to leave you with. It's not what you say that creates attraction. It's the energy behind it. It's not the phrase itself. It's the presence you carry when you say it. That quiet steadiness, that calm certainty, that grounded awareness that tells the world, I know who I am. I don't need to be loud to be felt. Because here's what most men get wrong. They focus on the line, the timing, the cleverness. They think if they can just say the right thing, they'll finally be chosen. But women, real, emotionally intelligent women, aren't pulled in by words alone. They're pulled in by presence, by how you make them feel in your silence, by how steady your eyes are when you speak. By the way, your tone tells them, this man isn't trying to impress me. He's just being who he is. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been around someone who didn't speak much, but still owned the room? Someone who didn't tell stories to win people over, but somehow everyone leaned in just a little closer. That's what I'm talking about. That's the power of stillness, of depth, of not needing to reach because you know the right people will naturally come closer. You see, attraction isn't noise. It's not about showing off or over-explaining or convincing anyone of your worth. It's about alignment, integrity, inner calm. And when you speak from that place, when your words rise from stillness, not insecurity, people feel it. They may not know why they're drawn to you, but they are, and that's the point. So whether it's saying you have a unique way about you, or I like women who know what they want, or even something bold, like I'm not that easy. What matters isn't just what you say, it's who you are when you say it. Are you centered? Are you clear? Are you emotionally present? Or are you still trying to prove something? Because if you're still chasing validation, the words won't land. But if you're living in your own lane, walking your own path, they will. Now, I want to end with this. There are thousands of men out there, good men, who never got taught this. No one ever told them they didn't have to chase, okay? That they didn't have to fake confidence, okay? That they could cultivate presence instead. That they could become someone who attracts not by being louder, okay, but by being deeper. If this video gave you a spark, if something inside you woke up or clicked, then I want to ask you to support this channel, not for me, but for the men who are still out there trying to figure this out the hard way. When you like, subscribe, and share, you'll help this message reach those who need it most. Men who are done settling, done performing, ready to rise into the kind of grounded masculinity that doesn't chase, doesn't beg, and doesn't break. A masculinity that leads with stillness, that invites rather than demands, that attracts because it doesn't need. So, if you're that kind of manure you're becoming, can join us. Because this isn't just about dating, it's about how you show up in the world. And when you lead with calm energy, when your presence speaks before your words ever do, that's when everything changes.